Salute, salute, salute. Okay, so for me, Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz was one of those fights that I thought was interesting, but it was kind of more similar to like watching Jose Benavidez versus Danny Garcia. You know what I'm saying? This is like, since we can't see the fight we want to see, let's see their two former opponents, what they do, what they look like against each other. So then we can kind of still come up with some kind of hypothesis of what could happen. Like, we can't get Terrence Bud Crawford in the ring with Errol Spence. So we have to settle for Jose Benavidez, the guy that got beat by Terrence Bud Crawford, versus Danny Garcia, the guy that got beat by Errol Spence, just to see what would happen if they fight, who's going to come out victorious, just for shits and giggles, really. Same thing with Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz. We want to see the guy that fought Deontay Wilder versus the guy that fought Anthony Joshua, see what happens just for shits and giggles. But we also could tell, for the most part, that I felt like on paper, Andy Ruiz had just more advantages. Being younger, having the faster hands, took less damage in his career. Luis Ortiz was long in the tooth. We really don't know how old he is, to be truthfully. Kind of like Sonny Liston, like we just don't know how old he is. But I guess on paper he's like 43 years old, which I have to salute that. I'm not even 43. Sheesh. You know what I'm saying? That's still the bad motherfucker to be going in there King Konging it up in that thing, mixing it up with some young ass dudes like Andy Ruiz, big cinder blockhead. That dude can take a hell of a punch. He's stout, sturdy. Like, you know, people look at him just because he's a little fat guy and they underestimate him. That's what AJ did the first fight. That's what Eddie Hearn did, I want to say. He just underestimated little Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, to me, I'm impressed by him because even though he did somewhat of a Buster Douglas or Hasim Rahman against Anthony Joshua in their second fight, let himself get out of shape, let the fame, let the money go to his head, and he came in the second fight out of shape, overweight, and didn't perform at his best, he still became the first Mexican heavyweight champion. And now that he's fighting and he's getting in shape, he tried it with Eddie Reynoso, that didn't work out. He's training with somebody else, I forget the dude's name, but you see in his body the physical changes, his performance. I seen where, you know, at his best, he has fast hands. Not the best with his feet, but he has fast hands, great counters, and he got decent power, and he got a great chin, a hell of a chin, can take a strong punch. Because at the end of the day, Luis Ortiz, even at 43 years old, supposedly, has not lost the old man strength. We saw that against Charles Martin. When he knocked him out, he had his hands stuck all in the rope, dangling, hanging, just looking very embarrassing. And then he went in there and finished him off. But Luis Ortiz also showed his age against Charles Martin, and he showed his age against Andy Ruiz, slowing down. His footwork is slowing down. His punch resistance is, you know, starting to lessen, diminish. And he still put on a hell of a performance. Both those guys, I take my hat off to. They put on a hell of a performance. Andy Ruiz came out victorious. He knocked Ortiz down 3 times. That first time he caught him with that little fast, sneaky right. You almost didn't even see it. But the way Ortiz collapses and the way he falls, even though he got back up, you can just see his legs. I mean, mentally for him to keep going. I think he started to make adjustments to Andy's power and speed, but I still thought that he was going to be knocked out. When I was making my prediction for the fight, I seen it going the distance. I also thought that Luis might get in one of those old man powerful shots and knock out Andy Ruiz, even though I seen Andy Ruiz take a hell of a powerful shot from Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? Kicks like a mule. But at the same time, Luis Ortiz is a great finisher. Got some good power, southpaw. I thought he was going to cause all kind of problems for Andy Ruiz. And he did at certain points and times with his jab. When he was on his toes, he was effective. When he was trying to stay away from Andy Ruiz getting caught into those firefights. But whenever they would get caught into those exchanges, the speed, the hand speed of Andy Ruiz, it was just too much for the old man. You know what I'm saying? But it was a good fight. It was a good scrap. It really didn't tell me a whole lot of anything. I really still couldn't decipher. Only thing I could see from that is Andy Ruiz got a good chin. I was surprised with some of the body shots he landed on Ortiz was effective. And when I watch him do mid-work training for his media workout for this fight, you could see some of those things coming into place. So he implemented those things quite well. Like he hit Ortiz with some hellacious shots to the body. And Ruiz has more of a future in the heavyweight division than I originally gave him. I thought he was going to sell off into the sunset and get completely out of shape after that second loss, or after that first loss against Anthony Joshua. But he's starting to, like, you know, continue on his journey, and now we're talking about him versus Deontay Wilder. Should Deontay Wilder get past Robert the Nordic Nightmare Helenius? Now, that's a video for another day. Well, let's just say hypothetically that he does get past Helenius. To see Wilder versus Andy Ruiz, that'll be a hell of a fight. Because now I don't have to, even though just trying to see between Ortiz versus Ruiz, still, even though it just don't add up, it still just give me a way to make a false theory or hypothetical. Well, this is what happened between Wilder and AJ. It's just fun. Even though it's not accurate, it's just fun for me to do that. But now, since I can take out Ortiz, say we could put in Deontay Wilder and then have Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz. Wherever the outcome would be, that would still be fun for me to see. Well, maybe if that was Wilder and AJ, because we've seen what Andy Ruiz did with AJ, now we've seen what Wilder did with Ruiz. It's not accurate, but it's fun, and I would like for the opportunity to do that. I would like to see Wilder get past Helenius and then fight Andy Ruiz. I think that'd be a great fight. Even if you take the Anthony Joshua hypothetical bullshit out of it, I think Andy Ruiz has proven himself to be a great heavyweight fighter. So it would almost be one of Deontay Wilder's toughest challenges, besides King Kong Ortiz, besides Tyson Fury. This would be like the second or third toughest guy I've seen him fight. And I would want to see if he's going to be able to land that right and knock out Andy Ruiz. Or if Andy Ruiz got that chin where he gets knocked down, he gets back up. He didn't look that great against Chris Arreola. The way he got up against Anthony Joshua, the way he got back up and kept fighting, he said, I got that Mexican blood in me. When he got hit and knocked down by Chris Arreola, it wasn't as, you know what I'm saying? He didn't get hit and hurt as much, but the way he fell, to me, I thought that his punch resistance may have been starting to diminish because he was losing too much weight. And I've seen some of his trainers, I think that was, I can't remember who that was, Guzman or Teddy Atlas, that just said he fight better as a fat boy. So when he try to lose all this weight and have a beach body, he can't take the same punch. So I thought he lost a lot of weight. He wasn't taking shots that great from Chris Arreola. But Chris Arreola is no Deontay Wilder. So I would love to see how, I think Deontay Wilder hits harder than Anthony Joshua, honestly. But I would like to see Andy Ruiz speed and reflexes versus Deontay Wilder's new improved form of himself with Malik Scott and that right hand. I think that'll be a fight that Deontay Wilder could almost retire off of if he's not going to ever fight Anthony Joshua or Alexander Usyk. I think he could fight Andy Ruiz and have a great farewell fight, win, lose, or draw. And it'd be a great fight for Andy Ruiz to continue his legacy, which is already pretty much in stone since he was the first Mexican heavyweight champion. You know what I'm saying? And then he can position himself. If he beats Deontay Wilder, maybe he gets a shot at Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk. And I would be interested in any of those fights. That's my thoughts. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel. Boxing Nocturnal Thoughts. Salute.